Professor Higashi and Cordero, today I have the honor and the privilege of interviewing Pastor Calvin Kochi, who's been with New Hope for how many years?
21 years.
21 years. And so wealth of wisdom and encouragement and experience. And so just starting off with some of the questions that we've prepped for would be this first one, Pastor Calvin. Who is your biblical hero and why are they important in your life and ministry?
I think that's probably the easiest one for me. The Apostle Paul. Probably because of the lifestyle that he lived previously and then being knocked off his horse. Just kind of like my story of my life, right? Everything going good, really successful. And then the Lord just knocks me off of my horse. And then I come in facing this reality of losing my marriage and losing my family. And then coming to the reality that it's the Lord that I really needed to help me to get back on the path. So, yeah, the Apostle Paul. And then even in the life of his ministry, the struggles through ministry, learning, how to become a leader.
Yeah.
First was as a husband, how to lead as a husband, how to lead as a father, then in ministry, right? And then Pastor Wayne being the leader that he has, going to the classes has helped. But then you got to actually live through the different struggles of ministry and go through the different situations that happen that you don't get taught.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you hear it, but when you have to live it, it's a huge, big difference.
It's a different story. Yeah. There are some things that you'll just have to learn. I know that Pastor Wayne talks about wisdom and consequence, and it's better to learn from wisdom than consequence, but there are some consequences that we just will have to learn. Learn from because it builds into our character and all those things. Any other,
it's funny because Paul, right, sometimes you think you are leading from wisdom.
Yeah.
Right? And then you think you're making all the right decisions, and later on you realize, no, because there's other things that you may have not factored in. Okay. Right? And that's the personalities of the people that you serve. And then the clashes of personalities and how do you cope with that? How do you handle that? And so, wisdom on the fly is hard. Yeah. Because a lot of that is, these things are happening live and on the fly. And it's, as a young leader, or Pastor Wade said, as what is the term, underdeveloped leader. And so you make those mistakes. Yeah. I think the best thing is, though, that you learn from them. And I think that's the process for me. Yeah. Learning through the mistakes.
That's good. Let's see. So, who's your biblical hero, and why are they important to you? What do you do for your personal soul care? So, what do you do to care for your soul, and what does your day, week, or monthly rhythm look like when it comes to some of those things?
I think rhythm is pretty crazy for me because coming from a hairstylist, owning my own salon, rhythm of life was super fast paced. Okay. So I put in long hours every single day, even the days off. Right? Part of it is still you got to do business stuff, you got to do paperwork, accounting, different things. So used to the high pace. So ministry for me coming into it, the pace was actually no different than what I had to do. So the expectation in that area wasn't difficult, but the problem is sustaining it. Yeah. And so in sustaining it, I learned that I had to build in margins. Yeah. I had to spend time alone by myself, and for me, it was fishing for a while, but getting out there for that length of time, and I would do it with my sons right on the road. So it was subject to when they were available, and so a lot of times they weren't available, so you got to find something else. For me, I think what has really helped me is I just get in the car. Yeah. I start to drive around this island. So it takes me about 3-4 hours to go completely around the island, and I stop at different places and just enjoy God's beauty. And for me, when I'm surrounded in that setting, there's nothing else but find peace, right? Yeah. So no matter whatever the tension in me or the tension going on around me that I cannot deal with, it just settles me to a place where I can at least process thought a little better.
Now, so you did mention this, that in different seasons of your life that you needed to adjust the ways in which you kind of care for your soul.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a season it was maybe a little bit more frequently on the boat going fishing,
Mm-hmm.
and then as your boys get a little older and they're kind of having their own rhythms, it's
Mm-hmm.
subject to when they're available. And so would you say that's pretty consistent, that there are going to be different seasons of life that require different rhythms of soul care? That you know, how you cared for your soul at 25 might be different than how you care for your soul at 55 or 65.
Yeah, I think the easiest care is right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the responsibilities that I have are basically in ministry,
Yeah.
and the people that serve under me. So that's pretty easy. My children are old enough. My grandchildren are going to, growing up stage, but I get to be grandpa.
Yeah.
It's not an everyday thing that I have to be there and not major decisions. So in that way, probably in the best season of my life. But yeah, absolutely, you got to navigate seasons as they come, and there's a lot of variables, or there's a lot of things that are thrown there that you're not prepared for.
Yeah.
And so, but I think what has really helped me since coming back to the Lord, right, is daily devotions, because it sets the pace on my rhythm.
Yeah.
Because I gotta live differently by what I read.
Yeah.
And so it has to affect me in a way, or the best thing for me is that it is affecting me in ways that are making me live different.
Yeah.
And so when I'm not living different, and I know I'm just going through the motion of reading God's word.
Yeah.
And so it says, blessed if you do. So it's the doing part that probably for all of us is probably the greatest struggle.
Yeah.
Right? Because we know what we need to do. Like, I know I need to diet, I know I need to exercise, but actually getting to do it until something happens.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to avoid getting into that something.
Sure.
And so I think that soul care part has been a big part of my life now, where I wouldn't take it before.
Yeah.
Right.
I think too, practically speaking, in Hawaii, when we have some of the worst traffic in the United States of America, where we serve at New Hawaii Kai on the east side of the island, but you live on the west side of the island in Mililani.
Yeah.
And so I think that's been really huge, where you've had to adapt and learn how to even adjust your rhythms based on where you have to commute on a daily basis, and the fact that you do serve here primarily, but you still have a lot of influence, and you still care for people at our Sand Island campus as well. And so man, whatever I just know whatever we can do to help keep that rhythm really good and that soul care high for you, we want to make sure that we do that. So what is, next question would be, what is one thing that you would like to do differently in your life to enhance your longevity in ministry? One thing you want to do different to enhance your longevity in ministry. Now, if you were to ask someone this in their 20s, it's going to be a different answer. In their 40s or 50s, different answer. At your life stage, what is that one thing that you think would be where you would want to go?
I think you're doing it, because I think one of the things that I realize more and more as I've been in life, just not in ministry, is pace. I think we sometimes run our pace or race as sprinters.
Yeah.
So a lot of things got to be done by a certain deadline, or we put an expectation that may be totally unrealistic.
Yeah.
Because it's not just our lives that we got to navigate. We got to navigate people's lives, and especially we are a volunteer-based church, right? So getting volunteers to do things when we want, it may not be the easiest for them and us. So there's an amount of grace that needs to take place, and then as we build the relationships with them, which takes time, I think then they kind of meet us at the same place, and I think then it's a much easier to navigate situations because the depth of relationship, and so they'll sacrifice time just as we'll sacrifice time, because I think it's got to be on both sides.
Yeah.
If we expect our volunteers or the people that serve us to sacrifice it, and it's on our time only, and I think it's unfair.
Yeah.
But I notice if you meet them, and they're so gracious and like super willing to help.
Yeah.
Right? I've had no problems when you lead from the place of what Pastor Wayne says, from a servant, meeting them where they are.
Yeah. So it's, pace is so huge. I know that's been a topic of conversation for us as a pastoral staff, where we're not just in this for a great 5 years of ministry where maybe we grow or maybe we do these different things numerically, but we're in this for like 100-year ministry. We're in this for till Jesus comes back. And it just reminds me of things that I've heard within New Hope of we don't want to necessarily be the biggest church, although collectively we are a big church, but we want to be the best church we can be for our community, for our island, and for us, that's being the best church we can be in Hawaii Kai. And for us, especially in our demographic of a lot of movers and shakers that live in our area, to model pace, to model a rhythm of life that makes room for rest and connection is really, really huge. And so that you would say that, it's one thing if you were to say that at this stage and say, actually, I wish I would have gone faster, But what you're saying is that pace matters. Absolutely. And sometimes that is a sprint, but sometimes we have to recognize when it's a little bit of a jog or even a walk. Yeah. So, wow.
Yeah. That's amazing because, for me, one of the biggest struggles in my own personal life is impatience.
Yeah.
When I want something, I want it now.
Yeah.
And I'll do everything to get it, right? And then because you become successful, you can afford some of the things, right?
That's right.
And if you're skilled at what you do, right, you can get the things you want. And then sometimes it's really realizing that maybe that's not what you needed.
Yeah.
Or if you took a little bit more time to process what you needed and how you went about getting it, the lives that you may have hurt along the way. Wouldn't have gotten
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, conversations with the wife about some of the things that I would purchase or do. Right?
Yeah.
And then later on, the conversations that, why did you get it?
Yeah.
Did you think about it?
Sure.
And all of those processes. Well, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I paced it well,
Yeah.
it would have really saved a lot of the headache for both sides.
Yeah, that's good. Last question would be, what advice would you give to a young theologian starting out in ministry? And I think that question is kind of phrased kind of funny. So theologian, maybe it's theologian, maybe a young leader or whatever it would be. But what would you give to a young theologian starting out in ministry?
Yeah. So when I think of that question, theologian, a person with a lot of knowledge, right? Or think they have a process in which they need to take a program or do things in. Theology is good. Practicality is even better. I think the practical approach of application, making sure that it's not just theoretical application, because a lot of times, even in hairstyling, right, a lot of people come out of school, like I call them 90-day wonders, right? 90 days of school, and like, I'm an expert at it. And you don't get to be an expert in anything overnight. It's something that is developed, and it's because of the things that you go through, the processes that you go through, the mistakes that you go through, the mentoring that you go through. And so there's a lot of things that you can have theoretically or you can think, right? But when it comes to the practical application, there's variables over there. There's other things that get thrown in there, right? That are not theoretical.
Yeah.
And so how do you navigate that?
Yeah. That's awesome. So going, and using a little bit of theology speak, or going from orthodoxy, right belief, right understanding, to orthopraxy, right practice, and just the emphasis on that.
Right.
I think that's huge. Particularly for someone young, starting out and wanting to have the excitement, the passion of making impact in ministry, but knowing that really we got to move from our head to our heart to our life lived out. Well, thank you so much, Pastor Calvin, for spending a little bit of time with us. Hope you enjoyed that, and awesome. God bless.